Hi, YouTube. I want to ask you a few questions today, and these questions are purely self reflection. So, are you ready? The first question is, what's your getting dressed routine like? Are you excited when you get dressed? Are you saying your affirmations? Are you singing? Are you dancing? Are you like meh, not really feeling it? And another question I want to ask you is, why do you dress the way that you currently dress? Is it because you're following trend, or are you influenced by those fashionistas online? Or is it just the way that everyone around you is dressing so you get like inspired? What is it? Why are you dressing the way that you're currently dressing? The thing I wanted to point out today is that the way you're dressing, the clothes you pick, the way you do your hair, your makeup, all of that is your vision of you coming to life. Whether you're someone who's influenced, it's coming to life. Whether you're someone who's stuck in a certain time frame in your life and you keep repeating that same style that you adopted back then, that's also the vision of you right now coming to life. So it's really important to really self reflect on these questions and to just take a look at the reasons behind why you're doing something as small as getting dressed and examining it a little closer, because to many people fashion is superficial and it's purely about the way you look and all of that. But if you choose, fashion can actually change your life. So what if you take a minute every day before you get out of bed and you check in with yourself? Let's rewind to when you first wake up in the day, and before you do anything, you're laying down in bed. Start asking yourself, how do I feel right now? So, automatically, as soon as you wake up, check in with yourself. How do I feel right now? What am I about to do today? How do I want to feel while I'm doing what I'm doing today? And then set an intention. And you'll be surprised by the transformation and the shifts that you see along your day once you become more intentional. And the first step towards your intention is going to be the action that you take, which is getting dressed. So it's so important that before you do anything every day, that you connect with yourself. Before the hustle and bustle of the day and all your errands and your work and your to-do list, it's so important to just sit with yourself and identify how you feel. And after you identify how you feel, acknowledge it. It's such a simple act of mindfulness, but it's gonna have a dramatic shift in your life. And then after you identify and acknowledge how you feel, decide, are you sticking with this mood or are you manifesting a new one? Literally, it's a decision that can be made in 5 minutes. You wake up, you check in with yourself, you identify how you feel, you acknowledge how you feel, and then you decide to stick with it or to manifest another mood. And that's when the dressing routine comes in to change all of that. So I've mentioned this on TikTok before, but it's so important that you feel your feelings and acknowledge them rather than pushing them down or ignoring them. Sometimes when we think of practicing psychology or becoming more mindful or setting intentions, we tend to think of ourselves as becoming people who meditate or take up a yoga practice or maybe do breath work. There are so many things to do to get in touch with yourself and to work on your psychology. And the most underrated one, and the most one that no one talks about, is fashion psychology. But I'm here to talk about it. And fashion psychology is all about understanding how what you wear impacts your behavior, your emotions, the way you see yourself, and your overall mood. If you'd like to become a yogi or meditate, by all means do it. And if you want to try a different approach to mindfulness, then let's start with fashion. And the reason I love fashion psychology so much and using fashion as a psychology tool is because it's being done every single day. It's not something that you need to incorporate into your daily life or make time for or book a class to attend. And it just needs some minor tweaks for you to fully take advantage of your daily dressing practice. Another thing about clothes is that it literally talks to you and it talks to the people around you, and more importantly, it talks to your subconscious mind, which is responsible for 90% of everything in your life. So if you're trying to change and you don't manage to influence or impress the subconscious mind with your desired change, and you just keep it on a conscious level, then the chances are that change is not going to come about. Because in order for you to change, you need to get the subconscious mind on board. The subconscious mind is where things are happening. So let's just imagine that you're walking into a room. Who's walking in first? You or your clothes? What are people going to see first? Are they going to see you or the way you look? Before they even speak to you, they're looking at your clothes. Not only are other people looking at your clothes and being influenced by them, but so are you. You're looking at your clothes subconsciously, and that's influencing your behavior, it's influencing your emotions, it's influencing your mood, how you're going to speak, the level of confidence you're going to hold on that day. It's influencing a whole lot. And it's those little influences every single day that are key when you want to change in any aspect or area of your life. Not only that, a lot of psychologists notice that your clothes literally become an extension of your body. I want to give an example, and I think it's going to put everything into perspective. When you attempt to get slimmer, you start to change the way you eat. So it might be eating healthier, or make sure you're not eating too many calories, do some cardio, or maybe other forms of exercise. And, that's the thing that you do when your ultimate goal is to lose weight. And getting dressed is also something that you do. And one of the things that getting dressed impacts is your self image and your self concept. Putting on clothes or getting dressed is a thing that you do, and it has an impact on your sense of self and the many things that branch out of that. How you present yourself to the world in terms of the way you look, all an extension of your self concept and your self image. So it's all an extension of your internal identity that you've created in your head. And so many people don't talk about this, and it's so important. Your self concept and your self image are like the blueprint of your life. They're like the blueprint of who you are. Your self concept and your self image are responsible and are shaping everything in your life, from your relationships to your career to your failures and success. It's the blueprint of who you are, like a filter that you view yourself and the world from. And that's why no matter what you do, until you change your self image or your self concept, you'll never see changes in your life because you can never outperform them. That's the lens, that's the filter that you're seeing life from. This is exactly why we see so many successful people who, on the inside, don't feel good enough. No matter how much success they've achieved, they still feel like they're not good enough on the inside because that's how they're viewing the world, from the filter of, I'm not good enough. Do you know what I find crazy? It's how booming the self help industry is and how many books and courses and programs there are available, and yet very little of them actually work on changing the self image and the self concept. And if you've ever participated in one of these courses or read one of these books and you felt like you didn't achieve the level of change or the manifestations or the results that you intended on, this is literally why. Because none of them targeted your self image or your self concept. There's no point in self development without working on self image and self concept first. So, self help books are going to give you a bunch of techniques, visualizations, and strategies to achieve something on the external world that internally you don't have the blueprint for. That's literally why you're gonna stay in the exact same place. You are not it because you and your core beliefs and your identity is not aligned with what you want. It's almost like you feel by the end of the self help books or programs as if you were just doing a cha cha. So you took one step backwards and then you took a step forward. And then you take another step back and then you take another step forward. And the thing is, you're always going to be in this vicious cycle because, like I said, you're still operating from the same blueprint that doesn't allow in the thing that you actually want. And if the thing that you actually wanted was within your blueprint, then you wouldn't be seeking the self help gurus or books or courses. You would just be being it and enjoying it and not even listening to someone like me. So I want you to start thinking of dressing in a different way. It's like an art and a science. And at the heart of your relationship with clothes is emotions. and it comes from a place where you're expressing your identity. And despite the popularity of self help books, courses, gurus, and all of that, it's so surprising that they overlook this really important aspect of the self. Billions of dollars are being spent on books, courses, seminars, and and they're all promising transformation, personal growth, goal achievement, and yet they don't even tackle the root cause of the problem, which is your self image and your self concept. That's why recreating yourself using practices like fashion psychology and re examining your core beliefs, changing the narrative, releasing what no longer serves you, all of that is way more important than self development. Because with self development, you're just building on a very shaky foundation. But by understanding and reshaping our self concept and self image, we're laying the blueprint and we're setting up the right foundation for our personal growth and success. That's where it all should start, with your internal identity, with your mental image of who you are, the narrative, the story that you're telling yourself about yourself. That's where the changes are. Once you create these changes and you change the way you view yourself internally, your identity changes, and then you project that identity out into the world. And the world responds to this new identity, and that's where all the magic and the manifestation is. So start today and try it for a week. Wake up, check in with yourself, and then dress for who you truly are and how you truly feel in that moment. So you can start using fashion as a true self expression of your authentic self and where you are in this given moment in time, and see how you feel in a week. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.